fill this with water a little bit. So there's three prime times there.
Okay.
You can fill them if you would like, because I'm sure that they're not full. But one of them has more nicotine than the other two.
Ooh.
By a good amount.
Oh.
So, just be wary of that.
Crack this.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
Hit the windows too. I don't know if is that gonna be too much.
I think this back window's open, so I think if we just have this going this way, that might be good. Unless you want to open one of those windows too.
I think it's just like one here, so there's kind of something on circulation.
Yeah,
it
really just
on that side, but
it really just picks up our voices. So
okay.
yeah, that is the good thing about this mic.
Too much. That's the good thing about cheap mics.
Welcome to episode 33 of Fehr the Burn, where I got hit head on by a truck.
A better way to say that I'm on the way in my own lane. With all the ways it takes to stay awake in this game, it's so lame. And I'm drunk, I run to try to find cover, but there's no love. Who's gonna put the Lincoln Logs back into the place?
I said Carhartts are popping, everywhere non-stopping, everybody jocking cause the style is rocking. Because of the internet, everybody is illiterate to read their own. Hello, David.
Hi.
We're jumping
starting right in there.
We're jumping right into this. Welcome, guys. It's Fehr the Burn. We're back, episode 33. Normally, when we take long breaks like this, the first thing I say when we come back is we're back from the dead. I pretty much almost was. So we're here, man. It's May. We're both wearing yellow shirts.
I don't think that's yellow.
We're the yellow boys. We're the highlighter yellow boys. You telling me this is a highlighter yellow?
That is like
this is green.
I'd say it's more green. It's like green? a lime, because it's got like a pastel-y lime green.
Yeah. Do you know what else is cool about this shirt?
It's Carhartt.
I got hit head on by a truck wearing this shirt.
Oh, actually, you know what? That shirt is, it actually looks like totally fine, and I'll bet that's because it's a Carhartt,
Absolutely, man.
Industrial strength.
Dude, because everyone's wearing Carhartts right now.
Because they support the vaccine.
Because they support the motherfucking vaccine. Because they're good guys at Carhartt.
Yeah, and do you know what else they support? You, when you get hit head on
by a truck. Yeah, man, so your boy had a little bit of a spill, you could say. A lot of fluid spilled out of my car on the 28th of April, 2022, I guess it's this year. At 9:45, I went out for a little bit of a burger at McDonald's. Don't do that, I guess. It's bad. I mean, I've done it a lot, so, like, my batting average for that is pretty fucking good. But I had a horrific incident, man, where I was north on a road called Glenwood in Boise, and a drunk driver came around the corner of this kind of like S-shaped like road we have, and kind of out of nowhere was in my lane and fucking hit me. And not only did he hit me, he hit the guardrail and went over the cliff down to the bottom into a parking lot of this road. It's kind of on a hill. Luckily, he's okay. But very scary, man. Very scary. Dave came down to the scene that night. They had the whole motherfucking road blocked off.
Yup.
Cops did not know what the fuck was going on.
No.
Cops, listen, man. I had a good experience with everybody other than the motherfucking cops. I had a good experience with the EMTs, the firemen, the random like volunteer EMT lady named Jan who came up to me. I don't know if her name was Jan, but we're gonna say it is.
Fuck yeah, Jan.
Shout out Jan.
Shout out Jan.
Came up and she was like, "Hi, my name is Jan. I'm a volunteer EMT. Can you tell me what just happened?" I was like, "Yeah, I just got hit head on by this fucking truck, dude." And she's like, "Okay, well, I see glass in your eye. You're bleeding." There was like blood on this shirt and stuff, but it washed out because it's a Carhartt.
It's Carhartt.
So
washes out just like vaccines do. Make sure to get your update this year.
make sure to get your COVID-19 vaccine updated. It's required by the state.
It's required by the state.
David was contacted by Utah telling him that he has to, he's got to get his shit.
I gotta update my vaccine.
They have to refill his vaccine.
I hope it actually is like a chip inside of me and it's like a software update, you know?
Yeah.
You go,
Like the Neuralink.
yeah, you go too long, your fucking arm just turns off. You're
Yeah.
like, ah, shit.
You're like, well, that is the arm that I did get the first shot in, so the next one's coming 2 weeks later. Oh, fuck. And then if you don't get the shot, then your arms don't work.
yeah.
So, crazy thing, a lot of people's arms don't work after they get hit head on
Yes.
by a truck.
Especially your arms don't work when you're drinking.
When you're drinking. Yeah, man. And that is the thing. This guy, okay, we're going to see how Dave likes some of the jokes that I've been thinking about surrounding my crash because I'm trying to turn them into a bit.
Some might say this is a crash test for those jokes.
Hey, it's a crash test. I ain't no dummy, though. So this guy, he was at, like, the Revolutionary Concert House, which is literally a minute away from where I got hit. Went to a concert, got super drunk.
As you do.
Before he hit me, he hit 3 other cars in the parking lot and sped away. So I'm really upset that that dude tried to make me his sloppy seconds for his drunk driving accident because he certainly made my car look like a 3rd grade whore. I don't know if 3rd grade was the right word there, but 3rd degree. I was looking for like 3rd degree. Well, it really did look like
okay, well, I'm more confused about a 3rd degree whore than a 3rd grade whore. What
I'm going for like 3rd tier. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to find like
the terrestrial kingdom.
yes, the terrestrial kingdom whore, the layman's whore, the poor man's whore, the poor whore is
the pink sheet whore,
the pink sheet whore, not the yellow sheet, not the white sheet.
No. It's that's a term they used in like Wolf of Wall Street. Because like pink sheets are the super low cheap penny stocks, and they have like a 50% commission rate, so they would use those and sell them as higher stocks to companies with a lot of money, so that they'd get a high commission back. And they call those pink sheet stocks. And then they also referred to their whores in the same way. There's like the blue chip prostitutes, which are like the super high end. You know, you like gotta pay them extra.
Yeah,
but
that's like how he treated the cars at the bottom. Like blue sheet whores. Because he just hit them and was like super nice and was like, I don't want to do this. But my car, dude, fucking totaled. He's like, I'm getting all that fucking
He's just balls
commission.
and all slamming in.
Yeah, like a pink sheet whore. Yeah, it really was like an adult fighting a 3rd grader. Like a grown man, like Ronnie Coleman. Just fight, which is funny because we will be talking about fighting in this episode as well.
Well, you chose to drive a Honda Fit. So.
That is true. And I was hit by a Ford Bronco.
But hey, you got to give it to the safety of the Honda Fit. Like you're good. So
well, if he was like about 1.5 feet over, I would not.
Doesn't matter. Did the car keep you safe?
The car kept you safe.
That's all I'm saying.
The car or the vodka. I can't tell which. But the car, you know what? I will give it that I'm alive and I'm walking, and I walked immediately afterwards.
So I think there's 3 things that it could have been: the car, the vodka,
or God,
or our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's God.
Jesus had his hand on your shoulder,
and he could have, bro. He could have. You don't know, like and it's crazy because some people are like, oh, some things are coincidences, and something or some people are like, everything happens for a reason. You're supposed to be here. Who the fuck knows, man? But it is one of those 3 things. That is true. I will give it to the vodka that night. I think I will give it to the vodka because the guy who hit me is the most Polish man of all time. I'm not going to use his real first name in my bit, but I'm going to name him Petri Orlovsky. I don't even know if Petri is like a Polish name, but his name's Petri Orlovsky. And you know what? That night, I did experience a real Red Scare. Because he drove a red Ford Bronco. Not because he's Polish, not like on any xenophobic shit, like just because I saw that.
Well, okay, all right, but you did make a racist stereotype with the Polish guy drinking vodka, and now you're going back to
the Red Scare,
the Red Scare in Poland being
it's a good joke though, right?
Fucked over in the Soviet Union. Yeah, that's good. That's
a
good.
real Red Scare that night.
That's funny,
and not because he's Polish, but because he was driving a red truck.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good caveat to
not be xenophobic.
To put on there.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows, I'm not racist.
I gotta tell you though, that does remind me this episode is sponsored by Stoli's Vodka. Get you so drunk you'll save someone's life
by hitting them on the wrong side. Shout out to Stoli's. Thank you.
Shout out Stoli's.
This episode is also sponsored by David's shirt. David, stand up and show the people the good shirt that you're wearing right now. This is a shirt for the podcast. You can check it out. David looks fucking swole as shit. Give him the flex, David. Give him that good flex. Bam.
It's like nice and tight in the sleeves, but it gives you a little breathability down here. Make your tits look nice and perky.
That shirt isn't even David's size. It's probably 2 sizes too big.
Goddamn right.
That shirt will make you look great. You can get this shirt at bonfire.com. /FTB-1-1. Again, that's bonfire.com /FTB-1-1. Go get them. Cop them. Yeah, man. What is the scariest car wreck that you ever went into? Didn't you get into a car wreck one time where you hit your brother on your property?
Yeah, like he was in a car too. I didn't like run over my brother.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've run each other over before, kind of, but like not bad enough to be like, someone went under tires. But we've had some close calls. But yeah, one time I was rushing down the hill, and like as you got down that driveway, right, it's there's like a blind corner where it's this little bridge that goes over a creek, but there's a bunch of bushes on either side. So, and I was going too fast, and he was coming back the other way, and just head on, just smashed into each other.
It wasn't like winter or anything. Like it wasn't. Like,
no, this is a gravel road, so it's hard to stop. And I was going too fast because I was coming down the hill, and I was excited to go hang out with my friends. So.
Sometimes shit just happens.
Was
that the scariest car wreck you've ever been in, though?
Trying to think of car wrecks that I've been in.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been pretty good at. I've been around a lot of accidents, but I haven't been in necessarily a ton of car wrecks, like full on myself. I've been like smacked or thrown out of vehicles, but.
Did you say thrown out of vehicles?
Yeah.
When were you thrown out of a vehicle?
Oh, just doing stupid stuff with my brother and all my brothers, like filming stuff or just like driving around being
like
dickheads.
Were you in a truck bed, or were you?
Yeah,
in,
like truck bed or
okay.
out of a car or stuff like that. Because like one time, like I was standing in the back of a truck, leaning against the cab, and I was like on my tippy toes, like smacking the top and just being a dickhead, just being like, "Fuck yeah, America!" And my brother slammed on the brakes because he thought it'd be funny to try to make me like go over, and because I was on my tippy toes, so my like waist was above it, so it just like caught me mid thighs, and I just like full sail like went clean over the truck. And he was still moving, and so I landed like in front of the truck and rolled, and he had to slam on the brakes more. Right, comes to a sliding stop, and I like kind of roll over and look, and the tire's like a foot and a half from me, and I was like, whoa! And then like other time, like we were feeding our animals, and again we're just we're kids, so we're just dickheads, and we like drive to the bottom of our hill, and I jump out and like do like throw the hay, like turn off the water, and he starts like backing out, the door's still open, and I go to like run and jump into the car, and I land, and I don't like get my weight forward enough, so I'm just like on the edge of the car and like holding the door and falling backwards, so I have to like jump back out of the car and land on my back so that I don't just fall directly under and get like smashed by the door, like shit like that, just stupid shit. But like as far as actual like car accidents, yeah, the one, I think that's the only one I've really been in that I was a driver.
It's more like bodily harm to you.
Yeah, just stupid. Yeah, stupid
Yeah.
injuries and whatnot.
That's good though, because that shit could have been way fucking worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the story of most of the stuff that I've done, though.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in a lot of those situations, like I was even saying, like pretty quick after the accident, I was like, you're gonna have in your life way more close calls than you're gonna have like actual terrible shit like that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah, that's true. I
Hopefully.
mean, until you don't, and then it's gonna be fucking
Yeah,
bad for you.
and then it's,
But like that's the thing for me. Even if you're part of the insurance company, I mean we're 13 minutes into this, but turn this episode off. I I like had to drive immediately afterwards. And I was even on the phone with the insurance lady after my accident and like, talking to her, and she was like, "Well, how bad was your accident?" And I was like, "Oh, I got hit head on." And she's like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Did your airbags go off?" And I went, "Yep, all of them." And she was like, are you don't need to go to the hospital?" And I was like, "No, I didn't go to the fucking hospital." And she was like, "Oh," and then she was like, "Yeah, I just got into an accident on Tuesday, and this was Thursday." And she's like, "And I still haven't driven." And I was like, "Well, that's crazy because I need to immediately drive because like I was like, I'm not gonna let this fucking back me up."
I think that's smart, too.
Also, one last thing on this before we kind of move to the next topic. Fuck the fucking cops, man. Fuck those goddamn cops. I hate these cops, man. These cops don't do shit for me, dude. Ever, bro. Okay, the cops, after I got hit, were just treating me like nothing happened, dude. And they were just like, "Oh, yeah, Chandler, like, do you care who, like, who tows your car?" And I was like, "Oh, I have insurance." And they're like, "Who do you have?" And I went, "Geico." They went, "Oh, yeah, if you want to call them up, we can, like, you can get a tow truck and they can come tow them." And I was like, "You want me to call?" And they're like, "We'll talk to you later." And I was like, "Okay." Like two dudes walked away, and I was like on the phone with Geico, and I was like, "I need a tow truck." And they're like, "What happened?" I said, "I got hit head on by a drunk driver." And they were like, "Well, the cops should be taking care of this." And I said, "Yeah, man, I feel like that too." But they're not, dude. They're just like, "Yeah, call them. Just call them up. They'll get it." And the guy on the phone was like, "Listen, man, this is Geico. Like, I can get you a truck there in like 3 hours." And I was like, "Oh, dude, you don't understand this situation, dog. Like, we have an entire chunk of road blocked off."
Which is why
like,
you think it'd be the cops that call them to be like, "Hey, like, we need a tow truck down here now."
Well, and don't the cops take care of this shit every day? And that maybe that is why they're treating me like it wasn't a deal, like a big deal, because it's Boise now, and there's fucking wrecks every goddamn day.
Right.
Like literally a week afterwards, I drove by another terrible wreck just on like literally a mile away from where mine happened.
Right.
'Cause that's the city right now. But don't be like looking at me 30 minutes after this happened and be like, "Yeah, man, it's a crazy situation, but how many fingers am I holding up?" I gotcha. What? What?
It'd be funny if he's like, "Yeah, man, so you got Geico? All right, yeah, you just called the tow truck. Here's the new employee training manual. Here's your badge. Here's a gun for you. You just go ahead and throw that on, get the car taken out of here. We'll get you back to the station and show you how to clock in, huh?"
That's pretty much what happened. I was
Did I
like,
just get hired?
I got a job. That's fucking cool. Like, what about my onboarding? The cops still haven't gotten me my report, and I get it. I emailed them because I had to get a report, and I had to wait 3 to 10 business days to get this report. Okay? I requested it on Friday. I got it on that next Wednesday. And they said, "Hey, thanks for requesting this report. No, we're not going to give it to you because it contains personal information, insurance information, which I never got his insurance from the time of the accident, and there's an ongoing investigation under this." That is the only claim that makes sense to me. Because I need his insurance.
Yeah.
In order to start my insurance claim, I was hanging out for like a week and a half before I could fucking do anything because I'm waiting on the goddamn insurance from the fucking cops who aren't going to give it to me, dude.
Yeah.
Give that to me.
Yeah.
At least call me back. The cop, dude, just thinking about this shit. This cop, the next night, or maybe it was Saturday night, it was either the day after the day or 2 days after, calls me at like midnight, like 11:30 midnight, and he's like, "Hey, Chandler, it's Officer da-da-da-da here, and the other guy, he's out of jail, and he said he's going to look for his insurance, and he's going to give me a call back, and once he gives me a call back, then I'm going to give you a call back. Oh, yeah? You're going to wait for the criminal to call you back. You're going to wait for the guy who drunk drove, hit 4 cars, and one head on and went down a hill to look for his insurance and give you a call back in a timely manner. No, dude. I still haven't heard back from this fucking officer. Dude, I'm just pissed. I'm pissed at the cops. Thank God I can start my insurance claim because I'm going to shout this man out. I don't know if anyone knows him. I really don't even know if he's a real guy. Pink from Pink's Towing in Boise. Thank you for helping me in my wreck. I really appreciate it. And thank you for helping my mom because she's really struggled during this. Mom, if you're watching this, I would turn it off because me and David are about to smoke something in about 10 minutes.
It's crack.
It's
Straight
crap. That's what it is.
It's not crack.
So turn it off. And thank you, Pink, for getting me the insurance of the other guy.
I do think that's a real guy because I work with a guy named Purple, so maybe they're related.
You also work with a guy named Popcorn.
Well, I'm just saying Boise seems to be full of these characters.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Pink is a real guy, and Pink has a fucking peacock at his goddamn tow yard. Just randomly. I was just there. And I was like, what's going on with this peacock? He just like looks over in the middle of it. He goes, you like that peacock? Big ass peacock, dude. Male fucking blue head. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you own this peacock? And he said, I belong to this peacock. And I was like, okay. And he just said that one day, 9 months ago, it just flew in and showed up and just hasn't left.
This is my land now. It's an American.
But I just feel like it would be way funnier if he never mentioned the peacock.
Yeah.
If he was just like, everyone's like, what's up with this peacock? And he's like, what peacock? What are you talking about? And they're like, no, there's a peacock right there. And he's like, I don't even know. Like,
I don't know a peacock.
What you're referring to. He's like, I don't know what a peacock is. A blue head bird? No, you're thinking of a mallard, dude. They have green heads and they're small.
Is the peacock's name also Pink?
It's Pete.
Pete the pink peacock?
Pete the blue pink cock. Pete.
Did he show you his pink cock?
I wish, dude. I wish I could see that peacock squirrely dick. I don't know, dude. But yeah, thank you to Pink. That is true. He's probably a real guy. You did an illegal thing, but you really helped out me and my family, so I appreciate that. And I don't know if it's illegal, but I would presume that getting me someone else's insurance company
say that he did something illegal.
Is illegal. Shout out, man. Yellow Boys, episode 33 of Fehr the Bird. Coming in hot, man. David has been helping me drop the first initial versions of Craig, man.
Yeah, that's Chandler's new porn name.
That's my porn name.
Uh-huh.
That's what I've been doing. And they go, why are you called Craig? And I'll go, I'll tell you why. Because my dick is so big that when the first girl ever saw it, she goes, oh my God, your dick looks like a Craigosaurus. And that nickname, dude, it's just stuck with me ever since. And so we had to shorten it. So Craig is Craig, like how you would spell it, with a period.
Yeah.
And actually how you pronounce the period is a saurus. So if you actually want to say the name in its entirety, it is Craigosaurus. But it just looks like Craig. With a period.
If you actually zoom in on the period, it spells a saurus, like wrapped in a circle very tightly. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very small.
Yeah.
It was an incredible art job done by Picasso. I don't know how we got him to do it, but dude, we commissioned that guy.
Yeah, I mean, turns out Chan has a friend that knows him, so he just called him up.
I mean, I think he's dead, but I came so close to death that we called him back. I don't even know. Is Pablo Picasso dead? Do you know?
Well, by the friend I was talking about, Jesus Christ, because he put his hand on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And then since he had his hand on your shoulder, he's like, hey, let me also quite literally reach out to Pablo Picasso to help you out with your art project.
For your art project. He's like,
you get the Craig rendering back. It's done in like macaroni noodles.
Pablo's like, hey man, I hope you get an A on this.
He's like, hey, good luck, buddy.
I worked really hard, so like I hope that it happens. when I was in high school,
It's great to have a pen pal like you.
when I was in high school, I was friends with this. I'm still friends with Alex. You know Alex.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about him in a second, but Alex was in music theory at a different high school, and I had never taken music theory. I just knew a little bit about music, and he had to write this final piece for his music theory class. I think it was AP music theory too.
Did he have to write a piece of music, or he had to write a paper about music?
I think he had to write a piece of music with on sheet paper, or that's
so he had to compose.
yes, and
his
then
own.
Have a recording of it.
Okay, cool.
But he was like, I don't want to do this shit, man. And I was like, oh, I'll do it, man. And he was like,
no.
oh yeah. And I was like, yeah, I don't give a shit. And he was like, well, I don't give a shit either. Cool. So I wrote this piece of music. So terrible, dude. I could show you after this. It's still on Facebook. And I recorded me in the morning of I had choir first period, so I just went in there early and played it on the piano and sent him a recording on Facebook. And I was like, just use this. And he said that he actually did use it. I never thought he actually used it, but he's like, yeah, dude, no, I totally used that. And dude, I took music theory the next year, and I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no, dude.
That dude forgot an F on that for sure.
Alex said that he got a C or a B.
Yeah, we'll take it.
I don't know how, dude.
That's amazing. That's so funny.
Yeah, man. Alex is my best friend from childhood, and we went to church together. And I am going to be having a series of guests on this summer that are from our life group. So that's the same group of guys that were the same grade, and all biologically born men. And I think most of us are still men. Some may not be, but I think most of us still identify.
If you met through church, that makes
a lot of us aren't church people anymore, though. That's
fair.
thing.
That's fair.
But I do want to have some church people on as well. Definitely, most definitely, dude. Just because it's hard for me to explain my upbringing in that church without people who were there, because just our group We went to a mega church in Boise. Our church had fucking 2,000 people in it. And the youth group was way bigger than everyone who goes to youth group is always like, oh yeah, my youth group was 30 people. It was 40 people. My youth group, we had to split from 6th to 8th grade, and then we had a high school group. And originally it was 7th to 9th and then 10th to 12th. And there were easily, probably 50, 60 kids in each of those groups.
Christ.
And then my 6th grade year, we combined. So it went from 7th and 9th and 12th and 10th to 12th to 6th through 12th, all in one room.
Whoa.
And we went from 110, 120 kids to 300 kids. We had ass loads of kids. And my year was the first year of 6th grade. So we were the guinea pigs. And we also had the leaders that were the youth pastors, outside of the main guy. So it felt like we ran that bitch. And it's hard to explain to people who weren't in that to be we were running this bitch.
Right,
You know what I mean? And
right.
I'm curious if other people look at it that way too. So Alex is the first guest of the life group series that I'm going to call it. And I'm going to get him on shortly, and then followed by some other guys. So I'm really, really excited about that, because I think it's going to be a cool project. And we've talked about my past quite a bit on this show throughout the history of it, especially in church. So I'm just excited to get other people who were there also involved.
Yeah. That's dope.
Yeah.
It'd
Thank
be
you.
cool to hear their stories and shit.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And it's just a bunch of eclectic dudes. I want to do some Zoom podcasts, because some guys don't live in Idaho anymore. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, David. Are you ready for this here battle royale we got going on? Here comes the Beef Battle Royale. Beef, 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 beef. Where's a lighter? We need to smoke this crack. Yeah, I'm gonna let you choose, David. I'm gonna let you choose. So I loaded 3 primetime cigarettes with solid dollar bills. One of these prime times has more natural tobacco pennies in it than the other ones, and we will see which one David picks, because that could determine how talkative he may and or may not get.
Do you know?
I know which one it is.
Oh, you know which one it is?
Absolutely, I know which one it is.
Did you like place them strategically to try to make me pick one over the other?
No. Oh, good choice, David. Going with the middle.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what we're doing, Dave. We got the Beef Battle Royale.
Okay.
It's an 8-man tournament.
Okay.
How I'm going to present it is we are going to talk about two people who have some beef. The last pairing does not have beef with each other, but they just have beef going on in the world. And how it's going to be set up is we'll do one side of the bracket, the other side of the bracket, and then one side of the bracket, the other side of the bracket, and then these two will fight. These two will fight. We'll have a champion. Does this make sense?
Sure. It's a bracket.
Yep.
Well,
But like what I'm saying is the first two matchups aren't the winners of those aren't going to fight each other.
Okay.
It's going to be the first and the third matchup, and then the second and the fourth.
Okay.
Okay?
Good.
Here's how I want to do this. The first thing I want to do is I want to talk about the beef.
'Kay.
Your thoughts on it, things that are going on around it. And then after that, I want to talk about who would win in a no holds barred? Bars? No holds
Barred.
barred? No
Yeah.
holds barred?
Yeah. 'Cause nothing is barred. Like there's no rules.
Okay, no holds barred.
I'm gonna get a little Asher.
We have this cup right here with water in it.
Oh, sweet.
That's why we got it.
That's what you got it for. Fuck. Sorry, everyone.
Fight. Okay?
Yep.
And the first one we're going to start off while I light this, and it's something that I think you can talk about.
Yep.
We're going to go Bobby Lee versus Brendan Schaub.
Okay. And it's a no holds barred fight between them.
But I want you to talk about the beef
Okay.
first. Like what's actually going on, how you feel, your thoughts surrounding the situation.
All right. So, Brendan Schaub kind of fucked up. This is my biased opinion. So Brendan Schaub is apparently getting a lot of hate on Reddit, has been for years, and he says it's worse than than hate other celebrities get. And everybody that seems to know about it also kind of agrees that's really fucked up. I guess supposedly that led to them discovering that there was like some abuse of a young kid, or like a video of a
minor.
kid getting abused or something like that that surfaced on this Reddit page related to Brendan Schaub. And so there became some sort of investigation about it. And through that, Brendan said that it was revealed to him that a bunch of the hate and the stuff revolving that incident was linked back to a Tiger Belly podcast, Tiger Belly being Kalila and Bobby Lee's podcast.
Like their email. It was linked back to their email.
The email for their podcast. So they freaked out. Brendan and Brian Callen, they called, they fucking screamed at Bobby, told him his career was finished, said some...
He was spineless, a coward, weak.
Yeah.
I mean, just terrible things about a person.
Yeah. But insulted his wife and whatnot. So thus... So accusing them of this, and Bobby got upset. Of course, Kalila got upset as well. Now, there's also some drama from before with Brendan trying to walk another comedian to his truck or something like that. I don't know. Some might be hearsay. I don't know. Seems like he might be a little shitty. Nonetheless,
That comedian being Andy Letterman.
yes. Nonetheless, this led to them having a podcast where they was actually very interesting with Kalila, Bobby, and Brendan, where they confronted the whole issue. And Brendan definitely looked like he was kind of in the wrong. And
Well, and also, Kalila brought up not only did that phone call happen, but like Brendan was texting Bobby for multiple months, periodically, saying things like, just spoke to a reporter, not good for you, saying that he has spending $500,000 on lawyers to take him down.
just threatening him, man. Just bullying
Well,
him.
saying really dark things too, like saying you have friends in dark places is like a very menacing threat, though.
Yeah, that's also a really funny threat considering you're a professional fighter. Like, why would you not, or you, an ex-professional fighter that's still very athletic, like, why would you not just be like, I'm going to beat the shit out of
Just
you?
show up and be like, hey,
Yeah.
man, we're going to fucking fight, and
Yeah.
it's not going to go good for you, man.
So that's kind of what's going on with them in a short, less detailed way. I think that it sounds like Brendan's kind of wrong. And
I think he knows that, and he's trying to mend things with Bobby. And
yeah,
it is sad when on Flagrant 2, the Andrew Schultz podcast, is Akash, is he technically like a co-host of that podcast, or is that just like, is he periodically on that? Do you know?
He's co-host.
He's co-host. So it's
like
their
if,
podcast.
if he's busy, but yeah, it's called Flagrant 2 with Akash Singh.
Gotcha. They brought it up to Brendan, and Brendan kept being like, "Listen, man, like, Bobby, he's one of my best friends, man. Blah blah blah." And at the end of that podcast, Brendan's like, "Hey, man, I love you." And Bobby looks at him and goes, "I wish I could say the same.
Yeah,
I do." And it's like that's so heartbreaking because at one point he really did, and he loved Brian too. And it's like he's never gonna be friends with Brian because of the things that he said as well, which.
Fucking who knows what that was.
And I told you, man, when we were talking about it, I was like, think about the way that Brian Callen could just absolutely annihilate you with words. Like, that man is smart as fuck.
Super
and like I said,
smart.
he knows words and he knows how to fucking get to you. And you brought up he's an actor.
Yeah.
And actors want to do that dramatic shit, man. They
Yeah.
got lines
Actors are
ready.
gonna flip the switch and fucking scream at you and shit because just actor shit.
They're in the scene, man. They're going for it. So, it's very sad. I'm mostly sad for Bobby. I am very glad that Bobby has Kalila because it seems like they hold each other in very different but like healthy ways. Where Kalila really stands up for Bobby.
Yeah.
And that's not something that he would really do for himself.
Yeah. Well, and I mean I think that's why their relationship works, right? Like opposites attract kind of thing. They both fill in voids that the other one needs, I think.
Yeah. And I just hope that Brendan stops doing comedy.
No,
I
wish
don't.
him well.
I don't.
As long as he's not gonna like bully people, I hope that he learns his lesson and
Yeah.
just kind of keeps to himself and does what he needs to do.
Well, and the truth is he does get more shit than other comedians. I will say that. I don't know if it's necessarily different. He's claiming that it is, but it's definitely more.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So, and I get it. He's up against a big wall in that situation, but that's done talking about that. What would happen if Bobby Lee and Brendan Schaub got into a scrap, David?
Brendan would just absolutely
Drag his dead corpse.
just like Hulk and Loki, throw him around.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm talking about like to the death.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be good. But I love Bobby Lee. We got that video on Jay's Instagram of me saying that Bobby Lee is the champion of the world, and I'm gonna stand by that. Bobby Lee, you are the champion of the world, but you are not the champion versus Brendan Schaub in a no holds barred fight. Brendan Schaub moves on. Fight 2. Joe Rogan versus the Liver King.
Ooh, shit. Now here's what I have to say about that. Oh, do we need to get backstory?
Talk about the beef. Let's
Okay.
talk about the beef. So the big thing is that Joe Rogan says that the Liver King is not natty, meaning that
Does
he's
he
not
say
on
that?
steroids. Yeah, Joe Rogan says that there's no way that he's not on steroids.
I don't know if
So that's essentially the backstory, right? Is like I just mean the beef of him being like, "Listen, man, I'm not on steroids,"
Well-
and Joe Rogan being like, "Listen, man, there is no way."
well, I just mean like I guess what's his face also talked about the Liver King talked about Joe doing like carnivore diet, and he's like that's good and it's like cool to raise like awareness, but then he's also like, but that's only one of the 9 primal tenets. So
Yeah.
eat,
Sleep, cold, move.
suck cow cock.
That's what you do on the ranch.
Let him inject you with his testosterone. But I didn't realize that Joe was like he's not natty. I just think he's not natty for sure. But
Yeah. No, Joe said he's not natty. Which
yeah,
there's
can't
no
be.
way.
there's
There's
no-
zero way
that dude's natural.
No.
Yeah. The only argument I guess you could make for him potentially being natural, I was thinking about this, is like if you think about, do you know who Eddie Hall is?
Yes.
The strongman, or even like or
Eddie
Thor.
Hall's transitioning to a boxer
Yeah, same with
to
Thor.
fight Thor.
Yeah.
That's never gonna
Well, they
happen.
had their fight.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
And Thor beat the fuck out of him?
It was a good fight, but I believe it went to decision. I believe Thor won.
Okay.
But the point being, those dudes were like huge, and then you see them like cut weight, and Thor's probably still like 350 or whatever, but he's got like 6 packs abs and stuff. And hypothetically, if he's boxing in a regulated league, he would be being drug tested, so he may not be on like, full like PEDs and stuff, but he still looks like at that size. However, like the argument for him, I guess, is maybe he's done PEDs at some point. Thor has, I don't know. But he spent like years gaining mass to the point of being 435 pounds, and then cuts back 100 pounds and is now like a shredded 350. So like that journey like makes sense. Whereas the Liver King, he like talks that it's taken him 12 years to get like this or whatever. But I guess I would like to see pictures of him being like bulky, because that would mean this is the size that he has to cut to. And not only that, but like when you look at Thor is like super huge at 350 when he's shredded, but like he still looks like human to a certain extent. And again, maybe not the prime example because might be on PEDs. I don't know.
Right.
But whereas like you look at like Juji Mufu, who is for sure taking PEDs because he's a bodybuilder and a form athlete. And he looks like Liver King. Like Liver King and Juji Mufu look the same.
Their body types are very similar. With the fucking bulging goddamn muscles at every moment.
And the shoulders are like a huge giveaway for me. Those just giant rounded cap shoulders, because I don't think that can happen without PEDs. Yeah.
Yeah, they say that you see it in the shoulders, the top of the pec, and then the top of your abs.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I'm not an expert. I don't know anything about it in that way, but I mean, all of those things on the Liver King are fucking ginormous. And there's even that video that you showed me of Juji and Eddie Hall next to each other, like throwing some shit, and you were like, this is the difference between natural and like PEDs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and like, because even like when you see Thor, it's like, oh, like Thor can, say, I don't know how much he can bench. I'm just going to make up a number. Say it was like fucking
700 pounds.
Cool. Yeah, sure. 700 pounds.
Amazing.
He bench, or like Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall deadlifted over 1,000 pounds, right?
That's amazing.
That's like
incredible.
Like was straining so hard that his nose started bleeding.
Oh my god.
And when he like released it, was like passing out, falling forward. But got it up, right?
Hell yeah, Eddie Hall.
But when he did that, the dude looks like a square. Like he looks what you would say fat, right? Because he's just thick. But it's like, to be that strong, his body has to be like that. So then, like, but that's not what he looks like all the time. But if he's at his most powerful for just like throwing or lifting, that's what he looks like. So I don't know. I guess it also depends on like what your peak form is, because hypothetically, if this is what Liver King looks like, this wouldn't be his peak form, right? Because this would be the more cut, like sucked out, dehydrated, unless you're on PEDs, because PEDs make it so you can perform and also look like that at all times.
Yeah, and be like 40 or whatever, however.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like I've never seen a natural 45-year-old or 40-year-old look like that ever.
Like, oh my god,
it just doesn't happen.
But, he probably does live by 7 of the 9 ancestral tenets, so.
Yeah, but look, man.
And fight is one of them.
Look at Vitor Belfort.
Uh-huh.
You know how much?
Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more TRT tour, sucked dry, limp like butter.
I.e.
Please don't kill me, Vitor.
I.e. Liver King. When he's not livered out. But one of the ancestral tenets is fight, so if they fought, David.
Now, Liver might be king, but is his liver king, okay? Because he's going to get in a fight with Ro Jogan, and good old Ro is going to throw one of those spinning back kicks directly to his liver. The question is,
can he take it?
Can he take it?
Yeah.
Now, if there's one thing I know about PEDs, they don't help you take liver kicks. Yeah. Arguably, they might make your liver weaker to the said kicks. And also, how big is Liver King? Like, how tall? Like, he's pretty wide.
He's pretty wide. He's probably, I don't know, man.
He looks similar size to, like, he looks bigger than Joe, but, like, he doesn't look like that much taller, you know?
Like 5'10". Like, I'd say like 5'10".
Yeah.
Maybe 5'11" max. But who knows, man? Because that whole crew is they're pretty tall. But I think he was the same, like, height as, like, George, I think, in that photo. I don't know. I would say he's 5'10". Okay. And Joe Rogan's online 5'8".
But I'm gonna take Joe just because Joe has legit experience of years of jiu-jitsu and
the jiu-jitsu.
Is a legit black belt in jiu-jitsu and has years of being a black belt in taekwondo. And it's like, if we're gonna put somebody in a fight I'm gonna take the guy that has the fight experience.
Yeah, okay.
Versus the guy that's just a little bit bigger.
Joe Rogan moves on.
Yeah.
All right. Matchup 3. Jack Harlow
Okay.
versus all of Twitter. Okay? So here's the beef with Jack Harlow and Twitter.
Okay.
Jack Harlow started out as a corny white kid that people in his own town didn't really even like. Gained his following and continued to rise up, right?
Okay.
Essentially had his peak with What's Poppin'. What's Poppin'? Brand new whip just hoppin'. Yep. There, he did the thing that everyone's doing nowadays where they make a good song and they remix it 7 million times and they go, these are new songs with other artists, so you guys should listen to them and gain hella more fucking listens and shit. Jack Harlow was on the rise. He started to become more like a sex icon. Even people were like, ooh, Jack Harlow, he's sexy.
Jack.
And then, all of a sudden, this motherfucker drops this song, man, on a TikTok that everyone goes, now what the fuck is this shit? And it goes, I've been a G, up in the L, sex in the A-M, And he drops this glamorous sampled song called First Class that on this TikTok, everyone was like, this shit might be the hottest shit we've seen at least this year. You know what I mean? And Kendrick's dropping. J. Cole, not J. Cole didn't drop this year. People been dropping this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hell
and
yeah.
Jack Harlow was like, yeah, man. And then came out with this album. And everyone was like, man, Jack Harlow, this album is dog shit, man. And people been ripping Jack Harlow online, dude. Just talking mad shit about this album. I even made
Worse than Doctor Strange?
People do be ripping Doctor Strange, but I literally saw a tweet that said, I hope that Jack Harlow doesn't get on because it's really going to ruin his day. Yeah, man. Because listen, man, this album got rated out of 10 a 2.7. And Peppa Pig, the album, got a 6.5.
Damn, dude.
Now, those might be in their respective fields, but still. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a 6.5 of all kids, but you're a 2.7?
Yeah, that's some for honor level disrespect, bro. Because let me tell you something. I've never had more disrespect than playing that stupid game, dude. I beat a guy in that, and he sent me a message that said, I hope your family gets raped and you all die and burn in hell.
Holy goddamn,
Yeah,
dude.
like, I still have the message on my PlayStation account. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that shit exists on the internet. So, like, a 2-point... Dude, that's...
People don't like them.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
rough.
mean?
That's rough.
And so Jack Harlow just went from, like... And really for no reason. Because people just heard, like, What's Poppin', and then they were like, oh, Jack Harlow's got, like, cool style. I kind of like this guy. Oh, he dropped this glamorous song? And then the album came out, and they were like, maybe Jack Harlow isn't the guy.
They will turn on you in the dime. Yeah. Okay.
Now, who's going to win in an all-out fight between Jack Harlow and all of Twitter?
Twitter.
Okay.
Twitter. Twitter's undefeated, bro.
Yeah, Twitter is undefeated.
Twitter's undefeated.
Okay.
Twitter is the Khabib in this tournament coming in, and it's going to take a real force to stop Twitter.
Oh, we got some forces coming, baby.
Yeah.
We got some forces coming.
Yeah.
Twitter moves on. Matchup 4. Now, these men don't have beef together, but they've recently been in beefs of their own. So we're going to go Will Smith versus Mike Tyson. Okay, now let's talk. Which beef do you want to break down?
I'll break down Mike.
Okay.
Mike's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Mike Tyson recently had some beef with a stranger on an airplane. The man in question was drunk.
Yeah.
And
dumb
was
looking white guy.
Was sitting behind Mike Tyson and was kind of harassing Mike Tyson. And Mike was like, "Hey man, I just want to like chill out." And somebody said Mike Tyson gave the guy some mushrooms. I don't know if that's true or not.
I think I've heard that too.
Like offered him some mushrooms to chill him out. But the dude like kept bothering Mike Tyson. things escalate. I guess the dude like threw a water bottle or something at him. Mike Tyson got pissed and proceeded to stand up and reach over the back of his airplane seat and punch this man with some short hooks or short sort of shovel hooks or uppercuts.
Kind of held him down like Khabib almost. Like,
Yeah.
looked like he had really good control.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing, because Mike Tyson really could have ripped that dude, but he was just giving him some short shots. Not that I would want to take those by any means. Dude wore him like a champ, but yeah, so Mike Tyson beat the shit out of that guy. There's a video of the guy looking very sad afterwards. He had a few like cuts on his face, but I'm sure he had a black eye the next day or something, but he didn't look, it wasn't like preposterous amount of damage.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Mike Tyson beat the fuck out of that guy.
Yeah. So that's
Could
happy.
have really beat the fuck out of him, but he
Yeah.
didn't have the room.
Yeah. Well, thank God.
Thank
man.
God. Thank
Man,
God for that
if there's a guy that you like God, like I don't want to, like nobody deserves to have that sort of like, punishment, right? But it's like if you're gonna poke, like if there's a bear that you should know that's a bear that you shouldn't poke.
Mike Tyson is that bear. Mike Tyson is a polar bear.
Yeah.
When that thing shows up and you go, you're not supposed to be here. This is South Dakota. Whoa.
Because and like
Hello, Mr. Bear.
I feel like everybody knows Mike Tyson too, right? Like, how do you not? Because the guy knew it was him. He's like a fan, and you're gonna.
Yeah.
Liquid
Yeah.
courage, man. Liquid courage.
Yeah. Well, and that guy might have taken some mushrooms too.
Now, okay, so here's the question regarding liquid courage. Would you rather have had your car accident or taken those punches from Mike Tyson?
Ooh.
Because those punches might have felt like a fucking car
I
accident,
didn't
bro.
really get hit in my car accident. I mean, I took a good like airbag to the chest, but I just
Yeah,
had a lot of
seatbelt,
panic.
but
Probably my car accident, dude. Probably, but I wouldn't get my situation. I wouldn't get myself in that situation with Mike Tyson.
yeah.
Like,
but I'm
I
just
would-
saying, like across the board,
Yeah,
you
for
have to
sure.
take one.
For
You have
sure.
to be that guy or take a car accident.
I would take the car accident.
Yeah,
I would take the car accident.
I would too. 'Cause at least a car accident, it's like not your fault, right? So you don't have to shame of being like, "Hell, there's that fucking idiot that got punched in the face by Mike Tyson."
Dude, and I've been like sparred, punch in the face. I've never really been like hit like cold like with a hand.
Yeah.
I've never been cold clocked. Like,
Yeah.
and I can't even imagine how brutal that must fucking feel to your face.
I was gonna say I've been hit pretty hard like a few times, mostly with like gloves and shit though, or
Yeah.
just like bouncing my head off shit. But like, yeah, never.
Never
Just-
with like an actual just fist.
But
to
well,
face.
that's the thing though too. Like again, like going back to Mike Tyson, that's the one guy you wouldn't want to fuck with because he's one of the few guys that could actually punch you like bare knuckle and know how to do it without breaking his hand. Because that's the thing with like bare knuckle fighting, and arguably why it's safer than like fighting in boxing or like the UFC is because you can't like if I hit you as hard as I can with my hand like this, especially because I don't train fighting all the time, I'm gonna break my hand and break my wrist.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like people are able to do that in fighting because they wrap their wrists so tight. So you're just creating a club. So this no longer bends this way. So all it can do is just ram into this like a baseball bat, right? But you can't really do that just.
Yeah, willy-nilly with your without any wraps or anything.
Yeah, or if you do, you're going to get one or two, and then you're going to really be struggling to throw that anymore. So I feel like you can't punch full power necessarily.
Unless you're Mike Tyson.
Unless you're Mike Tyson.
Yeah, and then you can generate full power from no
Wherever
no
the fuck
distance
you want.
either.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's what I'm saying, dude. Those thuds of his face did not sound pleasant in the video.
Yeah, it's so rough, man. And nobody feels bad for that guy either, which sucks so bad, man.
No. Well, everyone when they were like, "Why are you fucking with Tyson?" He's like everyone is like, "Why are you fucking with this guy? Why? He's fighting again. He's thinking about boxing. He is sparring boxing every day. He's ready to go, man."
The tiger in him is active.
That fight, his tattoo on his face is so wild to me. I always thought that tattoo was so crazy, dude.
That's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, so that's Mike Tyson. Will Smith went to India, and everyone's pretty upset about it. But he's doing it for his own spiritual being.
Why are they
so.
upset that he went to India?
He just went, man. He went without telling everybody, and everyone's like, "Will Smith, you're our favorite." Like, so that's the beef. Is everyone's like, "Why'd you go to India? Like, without telling us? That's so crazy." And he's like, "I needed to step away."
That's so weird that people feel like they need to know where Will Smith is.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like if I like you think about you and me, like if I walk out the door and you're like, Dave, where are you going? And if I don't tell you and just leave, that's
Yeah.
my fucking prerogative, right?
Yeah.
Like if
But
I'm
that's-
just like I'm going to India, like
Yeah.
cool.
That's the only beef that Will Smith has, though, is just that people are mad that he's.
went to
he
India.
went to
That's
India.
the only beef.
That's the only beef.
That's the only one.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel bad for Will Smith too, because I'm like, Will Smith, you go to India, man.
Yeah.
You find yourself, because you know what? If not, you probably would have had some really terrible like celebrity incident happen, and I was feeling that boil up. But I'm glad that you like chose to go to India before anything like that could have happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you know, and I'm glad that he has a wife that's so supportive to
she's amazing, dude.
really push him to do
Jada,
that. Yeah,
dude.
absolutely.
And just an incredible family. Really raised his kids right. They have completely normal names, and they're good. They're a good family.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I do like Jada.
I do really think Hollywood makes the best people.
Yeah, yeah. They're the most genuine. Honestly, like I wouldn't want anyone to tell me what to do for my political views, my moral views, other than actors.
Other than actors. Because if there's anyone that has the most experience, it's actors because they can act like anything. So they
Anything.
just know.
Yeah, they're just like, play this role. I'm gonna play this role now perfectly, so they can feel your feelings.
Absolutely.
So Mike Tyson versus Will Smith in a no holds barred fight. Personally, I mean, I understand that Will Smith played Ali. I'm just gonna venture to take Tyson.
I'm going to tell you something.
Just
I've seen Mike Tyson bite a man's ear off.
yeah,
He wins.
yeah. Dana White wanted Mike Tyson to fight a shark. That's real life, dude. He was like, Mike Tyson, I'm gonna get you a fight, and it was to fight a shark.
Like, it's like... He's just like on the end of a dock and just like they're like, there's the shark, and you see the fin like coming out the dock, and Mike's like, yeah man, I fucking got this, and just like fucking swan dives off the end like Falcon punches the shark. Like, oh, Mike Tyson leads with a left hook against the shark. Oh, but the shark's coming back with a tail whip. It's very effective.
Coming with the big bite, and oh, Mike Tyson dodges and liver shot.
That fucking
First round,
doesn't
Tyson.
It's not making any fucking sense. Fight a shark.
You're gonna take Mike Tyson versus Will
Yeah,
Smith?
yeah, for sure.
Mike Tyson moves on. All right, David, here we go. Semifinals.
Yep.
You want to spark this?
Yeah.
First up, and this is just absolute carnage. I mean, this first group does have. Excuse me as I burp. This first group does have beef for sure, but we're just talking straight carnage, and that is Brendan Schaub
Yeah.
versus Twitter.
Oh yeah. This one for me is pretty easy.
I'm gonna take Twitter.
And I know that Brendan says that he's the kind of guy, he's not on that. He's like, I can't, it's too much. But clearly with this Reddit thing, it still gets him.
Yeah.
It has got him wound up to the point that he was accusing and insulting and parading his best friend. So clearly, he will lose the battle. Twitter remains undefeated in my mind.
Twitter moves on. Other side of the bracket. We got the number one podcast host in the world. We got the number one UFC commentator in the world, possibly the number one mixed martial arts commentator in the world. We have one of the top comedians, Joe Rogan. And we have an absolute drug addict, Mike Tyson. This is a good fight.
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 So, I mean, it's so hard to bet against Tyson, man. It is so hard. Because Joe has accomplished a lot. Multiple time, like national champion in Taekwondo. He is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But Mike knows about fighting. And he has only boxed. But his skill in that is so much higher.
It's true. However, I would say that in a no-holds-barred fight, I'm going to take Joe Rogan. Because, yes, Mike Tyson does know boxing very well, but there's a lot of things I feel like that if you do them boxing style and somebody has weapons that are not just boxing weapons,
Like his head movement.
they're just going to kick you.
Right into a kick
Yeah,
from
well,
Joe
yeah, well,
Rogan.
and like how low Tyson gets when he bobs and weaves in, a knee just right up there. Or if he does that and Joe just grabs him. Like, because that's the other thing is like, yeah, Tyson has the power. So, yeah, he could, like, absolutely, Tyson's got a
that
fucking
dynamite
chance.
in his hands,
Yeah,
right?
like if he touches Joe, could be lights out.
And I
but
think that Mike Tyson would know that.
yeah, but so would Joe. Right, so he's going to stay away more. And Joe's got that Taekwondo base, so he's going to be elusive and, like, hard to just piece up with the 1-2, right?
But do you think that Joe Rogan is the killer that Mike Tyson has in him? Mike Tyson is and can become an absolute machine when it comes to defeating and destroying men.
That's true.
And Joe picked comedy. And granted, it's probably because he kind of saw a better outlet in that and something that like he could still like have more longevity with.
Yeah.
But
Now,
if that killer was in him, he would have chose martial arts.
maybe. Because the thing with martial arts is he was smart enough to know that, like, he became old enough to understand, like, CTE and brain damage and see the effects, and so he stopped. Whereas Mike Tyson was kind of created into that and built into that by... He was kind of, like, built to be a super soldier, essentially, hypnotized by cuss and whatnot. But I don't... I think that person still exists in Joe, right? Because he is, like, a hunter, and that is still killing, and he definitely did fight and, like, knock people out, and he's talked about, you know, like, it doesn't feel good and whatnot. And if the situation is, like, life or death, I don't think that it would be that
hard for him.
Yeah.
So you taking Joe?
I'm taking Joe, man.
I think I'm taking Tyson.
All right.
I think we got to rock, paper, scissors this out.
We flip a coin. I hate rock, paper, scissors.
You got a coin? Can you get one?
Yeah, I get a coin.
All right. I'm going to take Tyson because I think that he just also knows about fighting and just his history with it. I think that he can adapt to the style and just the power and his killer instinct.
Heads or tails?
Tails never fails, baby.
Okay.
Mike Tyson. Mike. Tails. Mike, baby. That's Tails, baby. That's Mike Tyson, baby. So the championship round.
It's Twitter versus Mike Tyson.
Versus Mike Tyson. Now this is still a good fight to me.
Mike Tyson wins, bro.
Because I think
Mike Tyson wins, bro.
Mike Tyson
wins.
in front of every Twitter user, and you just let him.
And this is a great bracket because I think Mike Tyson is the only guy besides Joe that could beat Twitter.
Yeah. So Mike Tyson, baby. That's
yeah,
Mike
because
Tyson.
Mike Tyson could smash a dude relentlessly on an airplane, and everyone's like, "Yeah, it's justified."
And I'll tell you
Go get him,
something.
Mike.
Let me tell you something about that guy. He has Twitter. So he's 1-for-1 right now. Mike Tyson versus Twitter, 100%.
Yeah.
100% success rate.
Yeah.
All right, motherfuckers. That's like an hour right there, man. David, thank you for doing this podcast.
You got it, buddy.
You are going to be gone very soon.
Yeah, I'll be leaving soon.
So,
Going to Colorado.
what are you doing in Colorado?
Gonna go try to wrestle some bears. This has been Fehr the Bird, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if you can hear it, but there's my music playing.
If you can figure it out, you just superimpose it over.
So it's like, anyway, there's mariachi music playing around there. I'll put something at the end of this.
It's beautiful.
Thank you guys for listening. David's going to Colorado. Thank you, David. I appreciate you for what you've done for this podcast.
Mwah.
Fuck you, David. Bye, bitches.